everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to tackle a really important piece of paperwork, something you absolutely need if you're an Indian citizen dreaming of moving abroad. We're talking about getting your police clearance certificate, or PCC, apostilled. Now, I know that sounds super complicated, right? But don't you worry, we're going to break it all down and make it super simple.
All right, picture this. You've got that acceptance letter in your hand, or maybe that dream job offer just came through. You're so excited you can almost feel the new adventure beginning. But hold on a second. Before you can officially start that amazing new chapter, there's a little bit of, well, bureaucracy you've got to get through first. So you're going to need one of these, a police clearance certificate. It's basically official proof that you've got a clean record. Simple enough, right? But here's the catch, and it's a big one. For another country to actually believe it's the real deal, the certificate needs, let's call it a special kind of upgrade. On its own, it's just not going to cut. So what exactly is this upgrade? Well, let's dive in and decode what a PCC apostille really is, and you'll see why it's a total non-negotiable for your plans to move abroad. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the PCC itself. What is it? Put simply, it's an official piece of paper from the Indian government that says, hey, we've checked, and as of this date, this person has no criminal record. That's it. You might also hear it called a good conduct certificate. Same thing. Now for the second piece of the puzzle, the apostille. What on earth is that? The best way to think of it is like a global passport, but for your documents. It's this special stamp that over 100 countries, all part of something called the Hague Convention, have agreed to recognize. This stamp basically shouts, yup, this document from India is 100% authentic and legit. It means you don't have to jump through any more hoops to prove it's real when you get to your new country. And hey, for countries that aren't in this club, there's a similar thing called embassy attestation. We'll get to that in a little bit. So why is this whole thing mandatory? I mean, really, why do you have to do it? Well, it's for all the big life changes. You know, going abroad for your master's, starting that cool new job, or maybe even applying for permanent residency. The country you're moving to, they need to know you're on the up and up for their own safety and security. An apostille turns your PCC from just a piece of paper into undeniable, internationally accepted proof of your good conduct. And you can really see that transformation right here. See? On one side, you've got your standard Indian PCC, but then look at the other side. That's the same document after it's been apostilled. See that official stamp from the Ministry of External Affairs? That's the magic right there. It literally transforms it from just a national document into a certificate that's recognized all over the world. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how do I actually do this? How do I get that stamp? Great question. Let's walk through the whole process, step by step, so you know exactly what to do. Now, before we jump in, here's a pro tip. The whole process is way easier if you get your PCC directly from a passport office. Why? Because it's already a central government document, which makes the verification part so much smoother. So let's start with that simple, most common scenario. It really boils down to just 4 key steps. Step 1, you get your PCC. Easy enough. Step 2, and listen up because this part is super important, you have to submit the original document to an agency that's officially authorized by the Ministry of External Affairs. Step 3, the ministry, or MEA, does their thing and verifies the document. And finally, step 4, they put that official apostille stamp on it. Boom, you're done. Okay, but what if your situation is a little different? Now, have a look here because things can change based on 2 really big things. First, where you got your PCC from. If it came from a local police department instead of the passport office, you've got an extra step. It has to be verified by your state's home department first. Second, it matters where you're going. If your new country isn't one of those Hague Convention countries we talked about, you'll need something called embassy attestation instead of an apostille. So the key takeaway here is simple, but it's so important. Know where your document is from and know your destination country's rules.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the practical stuff. How much is this going to cost? How long is it going to take? And what papers do you actually need to have ready? Let's cover all those details.
First up, money. How much are we talking? Well, for that standard PCC from a passport office, you're looking at around 2,000 rupees for the apostille service. But just a heads up, if your PCC is from a local police department, that cost might be a bit different depending on which state you're in. And what about time? You've definitely got to plan ahead for this one. This is not something that happens overnight. On average, you can expect it to take about 10 to 12 days from start to finish. And that's just an average. Sometimes it can take even longer, especially during busy times.
So for sure, do not leave this to the last minute. Okay, this next point is a biggie. How long is this thing even valid for? Generally speaking, an apostilled PCC is good for 6 months. Now, some countries might be a little more relaxed about that, but the safest bet is to assume you have a 6-month window. This means timing when you apply is absolutely crucial. So, what do you actually need to submit? It's a pretty straightforward checklist, really. The most important thing, and I can't stress this enough, is the original police clearance certificate. No photocopies, it has to be the real thing. Along with that, you'll need a photocopy of your ID, something like your Aadhaar card or driver's license will work, and a photocopy of the front and back pages of your passport.
All right, to wrap things up, let's tackle a couple of the most common questions we hear about this whole process, just to make sure everything is totally crystal clear for you. And here it is, probably the #1 question people ask. Hey, can't I just cut out the middleman, save a little time and money, and take my documents straight to the Ministry of External Affairs myself?
And the answer to that, coming straight from the source, is unfortunately no, you can't. See, back in 2012, the MEA changed how they do things. They decided to outsource the whole collection and delivery part of the process to authorized agencies to make things more efficient.
So here's the bottom line. The MEA is the only one who can actually put that apostille stamp on your document. But you, as an individual, can't just walk in and ask them to do it. You have to use one of their official authorized service providers. And here's another quick tip. Before you give your documents to anyone, double-check that the agency is on the MEA's official list. That'll save you from potential scams and a whole lot of headaches. Look, getting all this paperwork sorted out is a critical step for sure. But at the end of the day, that's all it is, a step. It's the key that unlocks the door to your next huge adventure. So the real question isn't about the documents, is it? It's about what happens after. With your papers all authenticated and the path cleared, where will you go next?